Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 1st to the 15th, 2021 money and career reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Sagittarius, November 1st to the 15th, 2021 Sagittarius, money and career. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Oh goodness. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At the bottom, we have the Wheel of Fortune. There's going to be a lot of change going on here. And we have the Hermit, strong Virgo energy coming in. If we have Virgo energy within our natal chart, that comes through very strongly at our root. If we have Virgo energy within our life, that comes through very strongly at our root. It's going to be kind of like one of the first things we kind of turn towards during this time. It could be a thought that comes through our heads, but we also have to really be looking at ourselves as the world turns, as things change, as we step forward. We then have the Nine of Pentacles in our inner self. There's a sense of celebration of wealth and prosperity and success. It's like it's time to celebrate. And then we have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. Now, if we have Gemini within our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully in our inner self. But there's also the sense here of love and connection and desire and, falling in love with our lives again, having the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine aspects of who we are come forward. This sense of, love, the sense of connection, the sense of passion. The passion is coming back into our finances, into our career, into our lives. We're seeing that spark come forward. And if we have Gemini energy within our lives, that shines through very powerfully in our inner selves. We have Gemini coming through again. The repeat of the number 6 means that this is a nurturing time. This is a time to nurture what we want, what we love, what we're passionate about. And it brings us to the Magician. As above, so below. As we see it, so it becomes. So what we focus on, we manifest. And we have to be very mindful about what we are focusing on. Even if we think, okay, I'm in a really good place, I'm super happy, and we try to force ourselves to be, when you're sad, when you're just not feeling like your world is right, you feel like you're not heading in the right direction, or somehow things got stuck and the monotony of life is becoming just so overwhelming. Okay, So here we have to be mindful about that, because we can be telling ourselves, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm doing what I love, it's all successful, I'm fantastic. We can be really forcing that to be true. And what we're going to find is what we focus on in the moments of quiet, in the moments when we think nobody's hearing us or looking, that's going to be what manifests. So really be aware of this, Sagittarius. We have the Three of Cups. Now, here it says friendship, but for me, the Three of Cups is always that person who raised their glass to us and couldn't celebrate us. And it's understanding that hurt, that pain, that disappointment that we've held onto for a really long time. And we're going to find it being triggering. We're going to find certain things triggering that insecurity, that fear, that pain. And we have the Six of Swords. We're taking all our knowledge and we're moving on. We're also starting to really honor the people who have celebrated us, who have loved us, who have been there for us in our lives, whether they be passed on, whether it be our connection with spirit, whatever that is, we're going to see something unfolding. We're going to see ourselves becoming more during this time, most definitely. Excuse me. Let's look at the energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And it's the Lord. Now this is Aries energy. We could be having a bit of a problem with being told what to do. Authority figures during this time aren't necessarily going to be our favorite. This could also be a patriarchal figure coming in that has had us skittish with the way that we want to move forward with our lives and where we want to be in the long run. So just being mindful of this is going to be very helpful. It's going to be very beneficial as certain, feelings and doubts come in. We can acknowledge it and be like, oh, I see this. Okay. I'm not going to let that overpower me. And we're also going to find that we're very attracted to very powerful people. Now, whether that be online, listening to their podcasts, whether that be, in real life, wherever it is, we're going to find that we kind of take their word as gold because they are successful, they are powerful, they are forceful. There's just this energy of force and demandingness to their presence. And we're going to think, okay, I need to be more like that. And what Spirit is telling us here, Sagittarius, is that we need to be more like us. We need to lead with our hearts. And that's going to be really important. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Okay, the third chakra. It's embracing our voice. We have life path and we have truth. As we embrace our third chakra, as we embrace our voice, what we desire, what we want, what we need, we start to see ourselves ascending more and more. We start to see ourselves gaining an understanding of what's truly important to our lives and what's the purpose of our being. So many of us, I think all of us, we look for a purpose. Maybe some of us have it instantaneously when we're born and we never lose it, but that's astoundingly rare. What we have here is the sense of ascending to who we are, what we want, what we desire, what we need. And it moves us to truth. It moves us to being balanced within our truth, within our voice, within what we need to say, what we want to say, a changing of ideas, an insight of self. We're stepping into ourselves more and more. And I know we're talking about money and career, but as we're moving forward in this world, as we're building our stability and our security, we need money and we need to focus on our career. Unless we have the absolute benefit of inheritance, coming in, which most of us will never have. So here with the Wheel of Fortune, everything is changing. Everything is changing. The way that we're looking at things, what we're valuing, what we're seeing as being intrinsically important, that changes. And the Wheel of Fortune brings this sense of being on a roller coaster ride, of embracing a new season, a new passion, a new insight, a new idea. It opens the door to us and we open the door to it. As we do so, the Hermit comes into play. As we do so, we start to turn inward. We start to turn inward and we start to see what scares us, what overwhelms us, what we've been running away from, what we've been trying to make ourselves into that we're just not. And the Hermit says, who are you when it's quiet? Do you know yourself? Do you like yourself? Do you want to be moving forward this way? Is it something that isn't for you? The questions come in and they come in for a reason because the Hermit says, look at who you are. Look at what you love. Look at what you want. In the Georgian era, the super wealthy would have hermits live on their property because the hermit would be repenting for the house, the wealthy people's sins. So they would party, they would do everything that they wanted. And the hermit that was living on their property would usually be a struggling musician or a poet or whomever who lived in this cave out in the elements pretty much. And sacrificed for their music, had this time of quiet and introspection while, they were supposed to be repenting for others' sins, but they were finding themselves. And that's what I think of right now when I'm looking at the hermit. It's kind of like, here's this time when we're turning inward, and people think, oh, you're not having the fun, you're not going out there and partying and celebrating and just living it up like you should be. And who's to say that that's what you should be doing? What if a quieter path is the path forward? What if, sitting there and connecting with what you truly love and what truly inspires you is exactly what you're supposed to be doing? And it brings us to the Nine of Pentacles. It brings us to wealth and prosperity, success and bounty. After hardship and pain, it's not even after hardship and pain so much as it's after back-breaking work. And we know that back-breaking work is going to be called on again. We're going to have to work hard again. We're going to have to, start all over again, because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is a person standing in a grape field. And if you've ever collected grapes or seen vineyards, they're intense. They're a lot of work. That's why those machines were made to help, spray them and keep the grapes and everything like that. So here we're going to have the sense of, I know there's a lot of work coming. I know there was a lot of work that went into this, but if I don't celebrate this moment of beauty, this moment when the sun shines right within my life, this moment of just joy. You know how we get like little fragments of joy, but we're so busy running to the next thing, we forget to celebrate that. And now it's like, no, celebrate that. That's super important. That's going to help build your wealth. And it brings us to the Lovers. It brings us to falling in love with ourselves. It brings us with that connection with the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, that sense of coming together. There can also be the sense of a new business partnership starting, or this new sense of, well, why can't I? Why am I holding myself back? This can also be a time where we decide to let our passion kind of step forward, to let ourselves follow what it is that we really want to do with our lives, how it is that we really want to move forward within our existence, and what we love. So this can be a time where we're juggling two separate things, our work that pays the bills and our passion that leads us forward. And we might be absolutely dog dead tired after that, but this sense of being able to connect and express, that's going to be everything for us during this time. And it moves us to our heart. And our heart is saying, I want to fall in love with it again. I want to embrace the passion of life and love. I want to embrace the connection of who I am and where I want to be and what I desire for myself. And that leads us to the heart opening, the angels blessing us being protected and loved and connected. And then we have the Magician, as above, so below. As you believe it, so it becomes. And we have to be really mindful about this, because we might be in a bit of a funk. We could have a bit of an anxiety, a bit of a depression going on, a bit of, everything. And we can be thinking, oh, I'm handling it myself. I'm just going to push forward. I'm just going to keep on smiling. I'm just going to keep on making everything good. And what Spirit is saying here is that we have to step into ourselves again. We have to connect with our breath. We have to connect with our souls, with what we desire. I highly recommend the Wim Hof method. I don't know why it is so extraordinary, but I absolutely adore it. So it's in the description box below. And if you want to check it out, do so. Because here it's like, I'm taking my breath, I'm taking my soul, I'm taking myself, and I'm connecting. And I'm standing before what I need, what I want, what I desire within my life. And I'm calling it forward into my existence, into my passion, into who I am. And that becomes the game changer. And we start to see emotionally the things that we have been carrying, the hurtful, hateful words that have been tearing us down, that have been denying us. And we're not focusing on the love that is around us. We're not focusing on the connection of the people who have believed in us, who have cheerleaded us, who have helped us in many, many ways. And here, when we have the hurtful, hateful words coming in, they're always louder. They're always more. And so during this time, we're looking at where we really want to be. We're looking at what we desire in the public arena. We're going to be triggered during this time about things that keep us held back, that make us feel like we can't move forward the way that we want to, the way that we need to, what we need to accept within our lives, what we can't change. And that's a really hard thing, especially when you wanted somebody to love you, to like you. If this was a parent, if this was a guardian, if this was a, lover, a friend, a whomever, we wanted them to think the best of us, to connect with us. And that was hard. And not having that was devastating at times. And so what Spirit is saying here is, don't forget you. Don't let their denial be your definition, because it's not. It's just simply not. It is the strength to know that kindness matters. It is the strength to know that love matters. And it brings us to the Six of Swords. It brings us to gathering our ideas, understanding what we desire, and moving ourselves forward. We need to have clear boundaries with what we want and what we don't want, but so that we don't let the water overflow us. Because, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, they're in a boat. There's a person steering, and there are two people cuddled together, and there are the swords to protect them. And it's like, I'm taking what I need. I'm being protected by the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine. I'm a child of the universe. I'm the child of the understanding of my emotions and this depth that I'm moving forward in during this time. And I'm connecting with where I need to be, with what I want to be, with who I am, with my voice, with how to embrace that voice. And it really moves us to the next level. It moves us to the next place. We have the number 6 3 times. Divinity, well, 666. So we might not think that's the best thing, but it really is. Divinity is telling us we are loved, that we are connected, that we are sacred and cherished. And that's going to be something that is beautiful for us. Not only during this time, but for our whole entire lives, to remember that we are cherished. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the Hierophant. It's that authority figure. We have the Emperor here, we have the Hierophant here. The Emperor is, the Emperor, and the Hierophant is the Pope in medieval times. So we have these figures of authority. We don't want to be told what to do. We want to discover, we want to search, we want to become, but yet we are going to be so attracted to things that tell us exactly how to live. People or ideas or whatever it is. We're going to find that alluring in one way or another. And what Spirit's saying here is discover. Discover what's right for you and speak that truth. Ascend to your purpose. Ascend to what you desire. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's flexibility. This is the sacral chakra. Flexibility to express ourselves creatively, sensually, to understand our past hurts in this life, in past lives, to be able to embrace the way that we're moving forward into what we want, into what we love from our existence and ourselves. It brings us to this subconscious rooted energy, and that's the Chariot. That's taking what we want and charging forward with it. That's understanding our love. That's understanding who we are. That's looking and just knowing here. And what comes through so powerfully, and it's so funny because it's money and career, right? But what comes through so powerfully is that love guides us. If we don't have that passion, if we don't have that spark towards it, it's not going to be the same. Now, yes, we can have the thing that pays the bills, that puts the food on the table and keeps the light on, and that's astoundingly respectable. But we need something that calls to a passion, that calls to what we desire in life, that opens up that door. And this is it. It's kind of like subconsciously, we're charging forward with our hearts. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the 9 of Cups. We have the 9 of Pentacles, now we have the 9 of Cups. There's a wish coming forward that we're not really going to be able to see being granted, but it's beautiful. Others are going to see it within us first, and we're going to see it later on. There's something glorious coming forward. And again, we're not going to see it because we're going to be too busy looking the other direction. Spirit's saying, look within, look at what you want. A wish is coming true, but it's not going to be coming true in the conventional way. So it's a little bit unconventional, a little bit outside of the box, but that's something that we're going to be very, very much drawn to during this time. Because if we stay with the convention, if we stay with the strict rules, which is what we're being warned against here, we're going to find that things don't really work out the way that we want them to. It doesn't mean that we throw everything to the wind and just kind of like devil may care mentality. We're not embracing heathenism or anything like that. What we're doing is, or Hellenistic anythings. What we're doing here is we're starting to say the rules, the strict guidelines. I can lighten up on them. I can explore, I can expand, I can see things differently. And I can see where that takes me, what's true for me and what isn't true for me. I have to discover it, And it brings us to our subconscious emotional self, and it's judgment. It's the rising out of the slumber. So here with judgment, we have the sleepers. And the sleepers in Welsh mythology, when King Arthur was laid to rest, his best men were laid to rest with him, because they would rise up when Wales needed them again. And there's a part of us that is rising up because we need it. We need it to come forward. We need ourselves to be, connected and to be embracing and to be, moving in this direction that we felt overwhelmed from, with. We felt like we couldn't. And now Spirit is definitely saying, oh, yes, you can. embrace it, see it, understand it. But there's going to be this call. There's going to be something that we say during this time. It's like, oh, it's just called to it. I just felt like I couldn't ignore it. And that's going to come from our hearts. And our hearts are all major arcana. And I know we can say at our root are all major arcana, but this is a major arcana deck, purely. But our hearts are all major arcana. And so Sagittarius, it tells us to listen to our hearts, to listen to what we love and desire and need and want within our lives, because it's important. And we're rising out of a funk, a stupor, a sense of a depression, a hurt, a pain, a being overwhelmed with the world in general, which, we have every right to be. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the 10 of Cups. And they all live happily ever after. But it's figuring out what our happily ever after is. It's not being the cookie cutter. It's not following the same pattern as everybody else. What it is it's finding out what makes us happy. And if it's the white picket fence and the, 2.3 kids and the partner and everything like that, then it's going for it. And if it's not that, then it's being able to say, but this is me. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I'm discovering. And even in careers, is it being the doctor, the lawyer, the this, the that? Or is it, being the entrepreneur, being the person who thinks outside of the box, being the creative? Letting ourselves be who it is that we need to be is extraordinary and is something that we need to follow during this time. The repeat of the number 10 also tells us that we're coming to a completion of a cycle emotionally, but also in something very powerful within our world, something that brings a tremendous change and a tremendously different way of seeing ourselves. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace our power and our prosperity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius.